Well, speaking of Charlie Kirk, as they push this whole Turning Points USA machine is moving forward, right? This is what that they sponsored that high school
moving
talk.
forward.
Here is Charlie Kirk expressing I mean, this is a guy, and we just spoke to this professor who talked about the phenomena that people who are more knowledgeable about politics will read about the other side's policy positions and philosophies or theories as a way of debunking them. But I would offer this as Exhibit A in the case where I would argue, in fact, no, they don't. Maybe even go past a headline or a book title. Because here's Charlie Kirk fundamentally misunderstanding what socialism is. I mean, and Marxism, I mean, just like completely on its head. Here is his argument. Now, remember, all the studies show that there's far more conservative attacks on professors, on freedom of speech on campuses than anything coming from the left. But that's secondary to the meaning of this clip.
If socialist professors really believe the nonsense that they profess, why don't they teach for free? Why do they sell the books back to the kids, and why do they charge so much per credit hour? If they're such benevolent and wonderful, communitarians and socialists, just do it for free. Get rid of the profit structure. Pause
it for a second. Now, what's awesome is they're all like, "Whoa, good talking point that you came up with," except for the fact that one hallmark of socialism or Marxism is not that you completely devalue your labor and give the fruits of your labor to your bosses for free. In fact, it's almost the diametrically opposed.
You never read the Grundrisse, did you?
I didn't.
That was where Marx wrote in chapter 3, you should just give it away.
I thought it was just more
do it for free, bro.
All that other stuff I wrote, forget it. Just give it away for free.
No, it's not about stolen labor. It's about just being a good person.
Does he think that professors are the ones charging tuition?
Well, which is also
that was another interesting
professors are selling their books to
we gotta go check in with the Chicano Studies Department to set the price point on tuition again.
But it really is a fundamental misunderstanding of that somehow labor would be so devalued that you would just simply give it away.
It's
one
actually
might even call it a willful misunderstanding.
I don't know. He's a really
so.
dumb guy. You know what's actually funny about this is that if you did want to do a buy your logic on them, it would be much more fitting if he was on there and he's like, "You want to call yourself a Christian and you don't tithe 5% of your income? That's bullshit."
Right.
Because literally that is in fact right.
Get rid of the profit structure. Be a true example of that which in a Marxist society. But of course, it's really interesting. Those people that hate America, which I believe this is rooted in anti-Americanism.
I do too.
And what's so unique about America, we're the only country in the world, in the history of the world, where even those who hate it refuse to leave. I always notice that the biggest proponents of socialism aren't the ones waiting in bread lines.
Right. I don't know where these bread lines are, but aside from the fact that the biggest proponent of socialism are not waiting in bread lines, that's a lot of people, actually, a huge number of people who are not waiting in bread lines. But as the late Barry Crimmins said, I don't want to leave this country and be subjected to its foreign policy.
That's fair. Also, all those people who are if you don't like American capitalism, you can leave. Is there a place in the world without capitalism that we can go live in? I don't think so.
I think the idea that this guy's whole business plan is not on talking about what he wants to change in America is absurd. And so, for him, it's just rooting out the cancer. For everybody else, it's about hating America.
This is also a great example of how, all of this stuff, whether it's Charlie Kirk or the intellectual dark web, I mean, it's this is an ancient talking point. And it literally depends on, I was talking with Marissa Baradaran about that Quillette piece that was flying around, which was the new 2018 version of, it's not racism, it's rap music. And it was I don't think this kid ever even has even heard of the Moynihan Report, which like said this from a policy perspective in the 60s. And this whole like, if you don't like it here, leave. I mean, they've literally been saying that since like, I don't know, at least World War II.
Well,
like
any
Eugene
country,
Debs only went like
any developing country with like a socialist presence would have they'd be said like they would have that said to them. You don't like England in a
right
monarchy, then you can just get out of here, buddy.
do more of that impression, and that's also true. But and then last night I forgot who did this, but I retweeted a meme of Charlie Kirk being like, how many people does the CIA need to kill in Latin and Central America for people to get socialism as bad?
Right? Socialism's a good idea in theory, but it always ends in a CIA-backed coup. I like to say that. Also, may I read a relevant tweet from Luke Savage?
Sure.
Okay, parentheses. Snickering at serfs in ancient Sparta. You say you hate tilling the fields as part of our martial, slavery-based system of minority rule, and yet it is that very system that puts grain in your emaciated bellies.
Yeah, pretty much.